evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fire Up. Are we fired up or what, guys?
Always.
Woo!
Always.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do this. All right. Well, we're a little bit more than halfway through the NFL season, so I thought it would be a good point to kind of go back and look at the different teams and see what surprises us in each division. If we thought it was gonna, where they'd be, if they're where we thought they would be or not. So, hello, Huddle Top fan.
Jolie! How you
So,
doing?
let's start with the AFC first. Let's start with how about the AFC East? What surprises you? What doesn't surprise you? I don't think any of us are surprised by the Jets or the Dolphins. Let's start there. Like I don't think any of us are surprised.
No.
I'll tell you what I am surprised about the Dolphins is that they beat the snot out of the Bills.
But they always play the Patriots and the Bills tough. It doesn't matter how bad they're doing; they do normally play them tough. It's everybody else.
Yeah, I know. It's been a crazy season that way.
So the Patriots are 8-2. Would we have thought that?
I mean, I thought with them bringing in Vrabel, and then, of course, the hiring of Josh McDaniels, Drake May going into year 2. You bring in Stephon Diggs and the additions you made offensively, then adding Milton Williams to that defense. I thought they would definitely be a much better team, and I thought maybe they'd be in the playoff hunt around this time of year, but I did not have them at 8-2.
I thought they'd be at least second place in the division.
Yeah.
The Jets are a work in progress, and when they signed Justin Fields, I thought that was a big mistake. Etta Love, good to see you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Fields is the right fit. I think they would have done much better with Rodgers there, had Rodgers stayed.
With that O-line, no. They needed athleticism. I think they'd have been better going to an athletic quarterback. I just didn't think Justin Fields was the one because, let's face it, I've seen him 6 times in his career here playing against Detroit, and his quarterback play never really impressed me.
Adam, your thoughts about the AFC East?
Definitely the Patriots' biggest surprise, but yeah, everyone had them. I think I had them in second place behind the Bills. Obviously, they're in position to run the table actually. So that's my biggest surprise, I guess. I mean, obviously the Jets sucking ass really is a surprise to me because I had the Jets being way better, but obviously it's not panned out that way.
Do we think he's going to get another year? Do you think Aaron Glenn's going to get another year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I think they're going to give Aaron Glenn 3 years.
Yeah, especially after the deadline, I think they're going to give him time to bring his guys in and put in his program, which they should.
Okay,
He has 4 draft picks over the next 2 years as well. So that's something to look at. Actually, they have their pick. So they have 6 picks within the next 2 years of the first round, right?
No, one of their picks did get traded in the one trade. So they do have 5 picks in the first round and an extra pick in the second round. Then they also have some 3rd round picks and some 6th round picks and 7th round picks from the other trades they made. So they are loaded up with picks, and I think it could be a very good time to be a Jets fan going forward.
And I think as I mentioned last week, the best part about it is that if they wanted to, number one, they can punt on a quarterback and wait until 2027, depending on how they feel about this class. And then the second one is they have 2 pretty good first-round offensive tackles in Membu, and I forgot the other one. So they don't have to go offensive tackle early. They're in a position where they can really take the best player available. They can go get a guy like a Bain or Woods if they wanted to, or they can. There's a plethora of things they can do. Really,
They have one tackle that's fantastic, and the other one's okay. Where they need the most help is interior O line, and with one of those being a late round pick, that is a prime place to find your better guards and centers in the league.
Does anyone think that Archie Manning is going to stay and try and be the number 1 draft pick in 2027?
I think if
he
him out
should.
one more year, stay another year.
I think it would be smart because I don't think this draft class is that great, and so I think he could really improve his draft stock if he stays.
Somebody doesn't like us talking football, evidently.
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking. So,
Yep.
Who's is that? That's one of your guys, then, Candy, huh?
see, we had some people that I think have gone under different names and are chiming in because they were banned under other names. I'm guessing, but I could be wrong. So we'll just see how the rest of the comments go. But
well, I mean, I would just I just don't see the paper
right.
clip, so I'm assuming that's your channel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Let's go over to Adam's, the AFC North. Adam, why don't you go ahead and take that? What surprises you? What doesn't surprise you?
The Ravens not running away with this division really has me surprised. So if the Bengals win this weekend, also they're going to be 3-0 in the division if they win, but there'll still be a game behind regardless. So it's right there. It's the Bengals really could win this weekend. Jeremy, I said they were going to win earlier, huh?
Yeah, you did.
So I am picking the Bengals this weekend, obviously. I'm just not, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know why.
Okay. Samir, your thoughts?
Yeah.
AFC North?
Yeah, AFC North. I actually had Baltimore winning it, and I had them as my Super Bowl pick before the season started. For a plethora of reasons, that hasn't really turned out that way. But they were 1-5 not too long ago. Now they have taken advantage of the pretty soft part of their schedule. Now they're 4-5, and I think what's notable is weeks 1 through 6. So compared from weeks 1 through 6 to now, specifically in their last 2, their run defense has gotten a lot better. They're allowing around 30 fewer rushing yards a game, and that's I think along with Lamar being back now, they did steal a win against Chicago with Tyler Huntley, I believe. So that has kind of helped make the difference in their turnaround. And their next 2 are, I believe, so their next 2 are at Cleveland this Sunday. They have the Jets, and then after that they have the Bengals, and they have the Steelers on the 7th. After that, so they could easily be 7-5 going into that matchup against the Steelers. And the Steelers, they have the Bengals on. They have a bye. No, wait, not a bye. They have the Bengals this Sunday. Then they're at Chicago. Then they have Buffalo. So Cincinnati did beat Pittsburgh earlier this year, but I do think this is a game Pittsburgh wins. Then they have the tough one at Chicago, and they have the Bills. So they could easily be 6-6 going into that matchup with the Ravens, who could be 7-5.
And also, Samir, just to let you know, the Bills have 10 days off before that Steeler matchup.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Jeremy, your thoughts? AFC North?
I thought it would be Ravens. I did say the Steelers would probably get second unless somehow that Bengals defense could push them into second. But I didn't think that would happen, and I knew that the Browns' offense was so inept that they'd be at the bottom. So the only shakeup I see really is the Ravens not being in first and the Steelers being in first. And I'm not upset about it at all because I'm kind of sick of the Lamar Jackson glazing you get from the national media.
Okay,
What's this Trump versus K? What's going on over there? What is there? Am I missing something?
I think Trump is on because he's talking about the fact that they finished the shutdown today. And he's saying it's Trump versus us right now because he's doing his national address.
And he's not watching football. It's on Amazon Prime anyway.
Okay, AFC South. Let's switch over. Now, I don't know that any of us I would have thought that Indy would be doing as well as they are. Like I think we thought they would be first, but I don't know that we thought Jonathan was doing really well. Let's face it. That's really helped them.
I mean, personally, I still pick Houston to win it before the season simply due to the fact that on paper the division didn't look very good. Tennessee is still clearly in rebuild mode. Jacksonville, I thought was going to be better, but a year away, and they are better this year, but I still think they're maybe a year away from seriously contending. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is the answer for them long term. They're having some issues offensively. But I do think Liam Cohen overall has done a good job there, all things considered. Now, with Houston, they've got, the issues on the offensive line, the inconsistency offensively. CJ Stroud's kind of been up and down, especially kind of had a down year last year, been a little up and down this year. Now he's injured. He missed last game against Jacksonville when Davis Mills came back from down 19 late in the game. Now he think he's going to start again this week. But in Indianapolis, I just didn't see happening. Simply not because of their roster, but simply due to the fact that I just wasn't sold on Daniel Jones. I mean, it wasn't like he was there in New York for 2 or 3 years and the Giants gave up on him. The Giants gave him 6 years and he couldn't stay healthy. And when he was healthy, he wasn't, consistently producing at the rate of which you would have wanted out of your first round quarterback. Now, some of that was out of his control. The offensive line in New York for practically his whole career there was terrible. And they didn't get a true wide receiver one until Malik Neighbors. So I just felt like that, given the fact that he had been there for so long, I just didn't think that you could fix that. But I mean, it just seemed everything seems to be working out there. While he hasn't been great the last 2 weeks, I think he obviously has elevated their team as a whole. And Jonathan Taylor, as of right now, is the front runner for MVP. Just saw it last week over, I believe, 300 total yards, 3 touchdowns, including the 83-yard touchdown to give the Colts the lead late in the fourth quarter. So I know MVP is a quarterback's award, and some will argue Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford is having the best year of his career in year 16 or 17. But I think right now, given what Jonathan Taylor is doing and how he is winning games for the Colts, I think he's the front runner for MVP.
Hey, Rick Diaz is here. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Rick, how you doing tonight, buddy?
And then I wanted to add on, there's a possibility that he ends up breaking LT's total touchdown record. So keep that in mind. That's a possibility. And I always thought, MVP is a quarterback's award, and for a running back to have a chance at winning it, this would have had to be the kind of year for it to happen. Or they would have to have this kind of year for it to happen.
Oh, yeah. What's a good game this Sunday? Well, there's quite a few, actually. But in this division, the AFC South, I said if CJ Stroud didn't improve right away, that more than likely they'll end up second in the division. And they're not even close to that right now. Isn't it Jaguars right now is in second?
Yep.
Yep.
And Tennessee's dead last. And pretty soon, if things keep going the way it's going, they're going to get the first pick overall, which is crazy considering how bad a couple of the other teams started.
Mm-hmm.
Has any team ever gone back-to-back number one picks?
I think Jacksonville did in 2020. No, Jacksonville did in 21 and 22, right? When they got Trevor Lawrence and then Jalen Walker. No, not Trayvon Walker.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's gone on in the NFL this year, and I love it. The parity is there. We're finally seeing the parity they've been pushing for, and it took a long time after the whole salary cap for teams to finally get it right, because the teams that were at the top were staying at the top for so long, and now finally that cap room has gotten to where people can make moves to make their teams better, and it's going to continue to go up as long as these streaming services keep getting added, because that's bigger contracts to the NFL.
What's up, boss?
So, Adam, your thoughts on the AFC South?
Hoss, you joined at the right time. He covers the Texans on our channel.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if JT is going to carry this load as long as he can, but Danny Jones got to do something. I mean, he's starting to regress already. We saw it. Can he hold up to his end and keep JT relevant?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing to watch. Obviously, Jaguars lose this weekend. Texans win. The Texans will be in second place in that division.
Right.
I don't really know. I didn't look at any playoff pictures or anything yet. I think it's too early.
Yeah.
But if there's a lot of teams at 5-4, the playoff picture could be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it is definitely the Colts division to lose.
Okay, so let's head over to the AFC West. We got the Broncos, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah. Surprising, but also not, depending on context. I thought with Pete Carroll there, and even with Geno Smith, the fact that Geno Smith is not a good quarterback at this juncture, he's just not a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL right now. But even then, compared to what they had last year with the three-headed hydra of O'Connell, Minshew, and Desmond Ridder, I still thought that would be an upgrade. And Pete Carroll, from a coaching standpoint, even at 74, 75?
76.
76, well, would still be an upgrade. But it's just not there. And they look no better under Pete Carroll than they did with Antonio Pierce. So,
Exactly.
So there's
Hello,
that.
Karen.
So I mean, there's that. I mean, at least offensively, you've got Scatterboo and Bowers as your two building blocks.
You mean Gente. I mean,
Genty. I don't know why it's a Scat. You have Genty and Bowers as your two building blocks that you can build around for the foreseeable future. So they have that going for them at least. And I'm hearing rumors that given the fact that he's 76 and the fact that they're not doing well, it's possible that the Raiders end up parting ways with Pete Carroll after the season. So I think based off the fact that you have Genty and Bowers to build an offense around, and given where you are, a chance to maybe get a quarterback of the future like a Mendoza or more, depending on where they're projected to go and where the Raiders are picking, that could be a attractive job opening depending on which direction the Raiders go. Now, The Chargers, when they lost Slater and they lost I thought they were done, but they keep winning, and that's a testament that. Oh, and they also lost to Marion Hampton. Insert Kamani Vidal, who has done a pretty good job at running the ball for them. He's kind of kept their run game afloat.
Don't forget about Joe Alt.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Joe Alt. Joe Alt's out, right?
What happened to the poor Jet? She said, my poor Jet. Did they just give up another touchdown? Yep.
Sounds like it. Who got it? Who got it? Did it go to Henderson?
I believe it was Dig.
Yeah, so, I mean, with that being said, the fact that you have Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt both out, those are two Pro Bowl level offensive tackles. And combined with the fact
that's three. That's three.
Oh wow. Well, and then combined with the fact that Omarion Hampton, your starting running back, week 1 is also out. But then you put Kamani Vidal in, he's done well. Justin Herbert, even with Ladd McConkey having what is considered a down year compared to his production last year, is still playing the best ball of his career. The defense is serviceable. Jesse Minter continues to do more with less. He might be a head coaching candidate this offseason. So it's just a testament to the job that Jim Harbaugh has done. I knew the Chiefs would have a down year. I don't know if I had them at 5-4, even though they are playing better offensively, even though they do have Rashee Rice back, even though Travis Kelce is having somewhat of a bounce back year. It just feels like defensively is more about Spags scheming plays up when they need to on third down more than it is, Chris Jones making a play or Karlaftis making a play or Bolton making a play. So, and they don't have an easy schedule coming up. The Chiefs' next 3, they just lost to Buffalo. They had the bye, so now they're at Denver. They've got Indianapolis. So those 2 are toss-ups, and then you've got Denver, and Bo Nix, depending on the offense, depending on who you ask, has been some good, some bad. Their defense is, in my opinion, the best in the league right now. Nick Benito is my pick for Defensive Player of the Year at this juncture. So they're 8-2, and right now, I believe they are the 1 seed in the AFC.
And at the same time, I'm going to say this. I said this on my show, and I'll say it again. I think Bo Nix bought a coin that he had custom made, like those scratcher shows on YouTube you see all the time. He had a custom coin made. On one side it says good, and it shows Josh Allen's face. On the other side it says bad, and it shows Josh Rosen's face. And he flipped it just before he walks out the tunnel. And whatever it lands on, that's what he is that day, because he's been phenomenal one game and dead awful the next.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not surprised that the Broncos are leading the division, but I am surprised more that the Chargers have been able to stay afloat given the injuries in their offensive line.
I agree with that because they did lose Joe Alt for a while too. Is he back playing this week or no?
He's out for the season.
He's out for the season.
Yep.
So they lost Joe Alt and Slater for the season. That's rough.
Yeah, but they probably have tight end rookie of the year, Rondé Gatson.
Oh, yeah.
Rondé Gatson, Tyler Warren, they're both doing very well.
Yeah, that's going to be a good battle if one of them two should be in the finals.
I mean, do you still have both of them over Egbuka? I don't know if I have them over Egbuka.
I think Egbuka's over both of them.
Yeah, I think I was talking about tight end. I didn't.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was going to say I still think it's Egbuka's award to lose.
Yeah, this is definitely Egbuka's goal to lose for sure.
Are we done with anybody else want to talk about the AFC West?
I think the biggest surprise out there is the Chiefs and how far they fell off. Did anybody see them going 5-4 at this point through the season?
I had them going 12-5, so I mean, I'm still intact here. I mean, they're not dead in the water.
But they're not nowhere near as dominant as we expected them to be. Is what I'm getting at.
Well, Pacheco's taking a back seat, German, Kareem Hunt, and I
Pacheco
still can't believe they didn't throw a 3rd-round pick for freaking Brees Hall. I don't understand what the Chiefs were doing.
I thought they would.
The Jets told everybody no. The Jets fielded calls, and for Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall, they told everybody no.
Yeah, I mean Garrett Wilson, I understand, but Brees Hall, you're going to lose him in the offseason anyway.
Yeah, you might as well get something back for him.
It's true.
Yes, sir. I know that, Rick. I know what fan. We've talked about the Lions together on Adam's show, so I know who you like.
So he's another one that I'm going to disagree with. Okay, got it. Just kidding. Okay, so let's move over to the NFC. Let's start with the NFC East.
News for you.
Really no surprises there. I knew defensively Dallas was going to have problems, especially after they traded Micah. Washington, I thought, would take a step back. I didn't think they'd take this much of a step back. You can attribute a lot of that to injuries, especially Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, and an aging roster. So I think if things keep going the way I think they're going to go, they're going to have a pretty high pick in a draft that has a lot of defensive talent. So they'll be able to add an impact defensive player early. But Philadelphia, not surprised there. I think, I am more surprised about the issues they've had offensively, which I knew whenever you bring in a new coordinator, there's a good chance that there's going to be a drop-off. I just didn't think there'd be this much of a drop-off. And, there's a saying that goes, winning cures all. I don't know if that is the case here because you've got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They're both disgruntled about their lack of targets. I don't know if you guys saw, but basically, I guess A.J. Brown was playing, PlayStation with this one guy, and he's like, "Yeah, if you have me on fantasy, get rid of me." So they've got that going on, but I mean, seems like we are finally going to have a repeat division champ for the first time in 20 years in the NFC. So there's that.
Adam, thoughts? NFC East?
I picked the Eagles to win the division, so they're doing exactly what I thought they would do. I didn't expect all the drama, but we talked about it. When did we talk about it, Jeremy? Yesterday?
Yeah.
The new coordinator seems to be causing mad confusion, but they're winning.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys, can they get it together? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they can't stop anyone, they're not going to.
They're 3-5-1. The only reason why are they in second place right now because the Commanders are that bad?
Yeah.
Yes. Because the Commanders are 3-7, so and the Giants 2-8. So yeah, Dallas is 3-5-1.
Yeah, Giants. Speaking of which, we just had our second head coach firing this offseason. And I mean, really, even though he was getting I feel like getting a lot out of Jackson Dart, not much of a surprise there. When you blow 3 games, when you're in a must-win year as a head coach and you blow 3 games in which you had over a 90% chance of winning late in the fourth quarter, you blew the game against Dallas. You blew a 30-point fourth quarter lead or whatever it was against Denver. And then you end up mishandling Jackson Dart's concussion twice this season against the Eagles and then again against the Bears. And then you end up blowing that game too. Just given the scenario, the fact that you were in a must-win year, that didn't really come as a surprise. But I just thought it would happen at the end of the year. So there's that.
Any predictions on who we might think fill that vacancy?
I think right
Wow.
now it is probably the most attractive job opening. Now some other jobs could open up, depending on what happens there. But right now the Giants' job is the most attractive opening. You've got Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors,
Cam Scatterboo.
Scattaboo. But I mean, I the thing about Scattaboo is it, and I know this might be an overreaction, but is he going to show the same flash that he did um coming back from that kind of injury?
Only time will tell, Samir.
Right. Because, especially with the running back, I think that's something you have to consider. But there are a lot of pieces there, especially on their defensive line. They have one of the best defensive lines in football. So that's going to be, I think, the most attractive job opening. Now, I don't know what happens with the general manager. It seems like he's going to stay on and help lead the head coaching search, which, even though they had a good draft, I was kind of surprised about that. So,
Jeremy, your thoughts?
The Giants. I think they should have got rid of Joe Shine at the same time they got rid of Brian Dable. Because if you look, he's also responsible for that O-line that's there, along with the guy that was there before, Goody, whatever his name was. He was awful too. So that O-line has not done a good job of protecting the quarterback, which doesn't help when you have a guy that runs like Jackson Dart, because he's running into contact as soon as he gets to the line. And he's the type of guy that likes to run through contact. That Andrew Thomas, one of the best guards in the league that year when he was drafted, guess what? He hasn't panned out. Didn't they get Andrew Thomas?
Neil.
The other, and Evan Neal, Andrew Thomas. There's a plethora of guys that can't stay healthy on that roster, and it's killing them. So the guys that I think, I keep hearing people say, "Oh, we're going to get John Gruden." What they don't understand is his case is going to Supreme Court, which may take up to 2 years before it ever gets there between him and the NFL. He's still not eligible to be a coach anytime soon. As much as I hate to say it, it's probably going to be Cliff Kingsbury, the guy known as the Kingsbury flop, in the second half of the year. I see it happening.
Okay, Jeremy, for Mike Tomlin?
No.
I mean, how about Clint?
McCarthy? How about Mike McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy, I think would actually be. I don't think he would be a bad hire. I mean, think about it. If you have a young quarterback, he produces good to elite offenses year in and year out. And say what you want about his playoff record, you're guaranteed a good or at least above average regular season. So I think that's something you have to consider. I said it the other day, if this season for the Falcons keeps going the way I think it's going to go, and they do end up getting rid of Raheem Morris, I think I would like for us to maybe bring in an experienced head coach who has proven that he can field productive offenses week in and week out. But I think Clint Kubiak would be one. Cliff Kingsbury, my thing would be why. Like, some guys maybe are just meant to be coordinators, and Cliff Kingsbury is one of them.
I've said the same thing, but that's what I keep hearing out of Giant circles through my friends.
Yeah, I think given the season Washington is having, I think Cliff Kingsbury stays there at least another year.
Okay. Let's move on to Jeremy and my NFC North. Jeremy, you might as well go ahead and start.
Well, the Lions are where I thought they'd be. And I mean record and place-wise. I said all year that they were going to be probably 6-3 at the midway point of the season and be leading the division. Did I expect them to lose week 1? No. Did I think it could happen? Yes, because we always have a tendency to come out slow to start the season. Remember last year when we played the Rams, I think it was a 1 or 4 point victory on a last second score that won that game. So I expected that, especially with the loss of all pro Frank Ragnow. I knew that there would be some communication problems. I didn't expect it to be awful. And it hasn't been awful. It's been awful in a couple of games, of course, but you could see it was a communication breakdown. But now that Dan Campbell has taken over the play calling, it looked like he righted the ship last week because it was the first time we scored over 30 points in 4 straight weeks. Now you look at the other side. I didn't know what would happen in Lambeau with Philly. The surprise was the week before, losing to Carolina and the way they lost. It exemplified the inconsistencies on the offense. And in the last 2 weeks, as much as I hate to say it, Matt LaFleur has been a great coach and a good mentor for Jordan Love and everything else as a head coach. He's been looking like a screenplay merchant. But your O-line looks almost as bad as the Chicago O-line last year because of the injuries. So think about it. They went from the 3rd seed to the 7th seed with that one loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge blow, not only to that, but to the ego. And it was so bad that Packer fan number 1 in the celebrity world, Lil Wayne, said he shouldn't even be allowed to have the name Jordan because he shares it with the GOAT of basketball. It's disrespectful to Michael. I was like, wow, he went there.
And really, Jordan isn't really playing that bad of a season. If you look at his numbers, like his touchdown to interceptions, they're not that bad. They're not that off. But yeah, something's not like clicking right. You know, I question Matt LaFleur and putting McManus back in, even though he's got, leg injury. You brought in somebody else he hadn't missed, and then all of a sudden you're bringing back McManus. And did we do it too soon? I mean,
Habisack, you're talking about the kid that was hitting from over 50 yards.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a Lions fan, and I even know who it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they should have left him in too. And Chicago being second place, being 6-3, tied with the Lions, but because they're 0-2 in the division, they have like that snowball chance in hell of winning the division right now.
Right. But like the Packers aren't that far behind; they're only a tie behind you guys. So it's a close division, compared to any of the other divisions.
Yeah, and it's also the most wins of any one division for all 4 teams combined. And it backs up what we've said the last 2 seasons, that the NFC North is probably the best division in NFL right now. Because right now, at the end of the day, we have 3 teams in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, Samir, your thoughts of the NFC North?
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback on what Jeremy just mentioned, we talked about before the season that this was probably the best division in the NFL, and so far it has lived up to that billing. I did make a bold prediction that the Bears would win the division. I am sticking with it. It didn't look like they would at the beginning of the year, especially after week 2, and the Lions put 50 on them, and we're like, where is this going? But I think the fascinating part about the Bears is not how Caleb is playing, or not that Rome Odunze is starting to come into his own, or that DeAndre Swift in that running game is doing well. Luther Burden is contributing. Colston Loveland is starting to contribute now the last couple of weeks. But it has been about how the last couple of years, especially the last 3 years under Matt Eberflus, they couldn't win on the road and they couldn't win close games. Well, now they're doing both. That the wins against the Raiders, Commanders, and Bengals, they would have lost all 3 of those games under Matt Eberflus. And it just right now is a testament to what Ben Johnson is doing there. And people talk about Coach of the Year. I think Shane Steichen right now is the front runner, but you have to give Ben Johnson a ton of consideration.
My thing is the O line is playing way better than it did, and that's due to who they added in the offseason. But at the same time, Caleb still does not have that great completion percentage. What he did reduce is his interceptions, and in Ben Johnson's offense, that's what it's predicated to, reducing turnovers. So that part's going really well, and I applaud them for that. I just that defense,
Yeah.
that defense, nowhere near as good as it looks on paper. And losing Edwards for the year, that was huge.
That's a big. Yeah, I think the main concern with them is their pass rush, because
I think they're 30th in the league in sacks right
yeah,
now.
they're 30th in the league in sacks. Montez Sweat, I think, he's been underwhelming since he was traded there. I know he had a good second half of the year when he first got traded there. The last years he's been underwhelming. Javon Dexter's been solid. Grady Jarrett, I think, is starting to show his age, and it just doesn't seem like he's been the same since the knee injury he had here a couple years ago, and they gave him $45 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Jalen Johnson is out for the year, so there's that. But yeah, and then now with that being said, the next three, they're at Minnesota, they have Pittsburgh, they have Philadelphia, they have Green Bay. They could easily lose three of their next four. But I mean, I am still sticking with my pick for them to win this division. I think they have the talent to, and I think when they play Detroit in Chicago later on in the year, it's not the same team that had 50 dropped on them week 2. So there's that.
Adam, your thoughts?
We're in the line. We're gonna get north, right?
Yep.
NFC North. Yep.
I'm not a Bears fan either, just to let everyone know. I'm not a big fan. You can just tell, like, I don't know. But anyway, just not. I do like the Fridge and Walter Payton's. I guess I like the older Bears. I'm not a new Bear fan. But anyway, the Lions, definitely, I had them winning the division.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the Packers in second, and they can still finish in second. So we'll see what happens.
They can. I mean, the Packers, the 3 losses that we have, they're each by 3 points. So the 3 losses are a total of 9 points that we're down by. Although I will say our offense has not scored a lot lately in the last couple of games, and that's kind of I think that's partly it. We're still one of the youngest rosters in the league, and we've had injuries to some of our guys, including the offensive line, which makes a big difference. That so it'll be interesting. I think it seems like we play the tough teams tough, yet we didn't beat Eagles, but we played them a lot tougher. And then we play like Carolina, like we did. I mean,
it's like we bow down to their level.
Exactly. Yes. And I think one of the other things that I will say is that we have made a lot of mental mistakes, a lot of penalties, a lot of false starts, wrong, and at the most inopportune times. So I think if we could clean up some of those, that would really help too. And
there's been procedural penalties, which is a mental lapse. Exactly. When I say procedural penalties, like that illegal motion or the illegal formation, because the tackle that was the eligible receiver lined up underneath the receiver on the line, and you can't do that if you're eligible. You had to be back behind them or off to the side, split off, and that was a huge play because that wasn't that the big pass to Christian Watson that would have put you in field goal range to tie it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a huge blow, and that negated a total of 29 yards right there.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that a loss of down penalty too? So it took you from second down to third. So you had one down to go 14 yards then at that point because it was 3rd and 9 on that play, if I remember, or
Yep.
2nd and 9.
And they knew what play we were going to run, and that's
Right.
the other thing too.
The
Like-
predictability on offense, and
Yeah.
I've heard many Packer fans because
Mhm.
I'm in a channel that has a lot of them,
Yeah.
and I heard many of them say, "Man, when you can hear the defense is actually calling out the play we're getting ready to run before we run it, that's awful."
Yeah.
Not
Well,
only is it awful, but that we don't change it up, like that we didn't change. I mean, that we didn't change the play at that point.
Right.
yeah. I mean, first off, the defense calling out plays the offense is going to run as a normal day in Zach Robinson's offense. First off, second of all, I have seen a lot of Packers fans saying that LaFleur might need to give up play calling. But I mean, my thing is, Candy specifically, offense is just fine last year. It was just fine second half of 23, which was Jordan Love's first full year as a starter. So is it the injuries? Is it what do you think is the issue with the Packers offense this year?
I think part of it is injuries. I think, honestly, I don't think they're letting Jordan be Jordan. I think they're kind of holding him back, and I don't know exactly why. Because he hasn't thrown as many interceptions this year. I mean, not that you want that, but you also want a quarterback to be able to play and be loose. I don't know. His throws have been off. I don't know if he, you wonder if like he got banged up and his throwing hand is, because at one point he had it taped up and stuff too. So, but yeah, I mean, our offensive line is banged up. Obviously, losing Tucker Kraft, who had been his go-to guy, that did not help at all either. Especially because they're so young, and I think that's part of it too, that he just doesn't feel comfortable with everybody. So, I don't know. It's sad. I mean, and I don't know what the mental mistakes are. I think that's a testament to LaFleur, and I don't know how he practices, but those should not happen. The false starts, and not even just like one false start. I get it, but like there was one game when one of the guys had 3 false starts for the game. Like that should not happen.
That was your right guard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I forget his name. I just remember watching it, and that was like the most penalties he had all year.
I think he was filling in. I think someone got injured and he came in. But even still, it doesn't matter. You've played football all your life. You're playing in the NFL for a reason. 3 false starts and then the illegal formations, like those just can't happen either. And who's on the sideline looking at that? Because honestly, that's who should be calling it out and saying, "Hey, come on."
What I don't understand is why here in year 3 as a starter that Jordan Love doesn't seem to be able to audible in and out of plays. Because it looks like whatever play is called in, that's what he's running, and it's looking like a first read offense. And I don't think that fits his game style and what his abilities are. I'm not saying Jordan Love is the best quarterback ever, but he really is not as bad as he has looked the last few weeks.
I think they're holding him back. I don't know why.
But I will say, because I remember when a certain team in the Motor City was the youngest team in the NFL not too long ago, and it took them half a season to get to where they gelled and started doing and stopped playing to the ability of their opponent. As soon as they did that, the team flipped the switch. And that is the problem with the young team. They tend to play up against good teams and play down against the bad teams because they're not mentally prepared. When you have an average age that's under 24 years old, that means you have a lot of people that are under 24 years old on that team.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're going through right now here.
So And the biggest surprise is the Bears in second place. And I would say Minnesota, but I did say before the season that it really depended on JJ McCarthy and his health, because after getting hurt last year, if he gets hurt with who they got rid of, it was going to be an awful year for them. And he did get hurt, and it's been an awful year for them because they got rid of Daniel Jones. They let Sam Darnold walk out the door. They let Daniel Jones walk out the door and decided to sign old man who's been washed up since he had an almost MVP year back with that Super Bowl run year. Carson Wentz hasn't been the same since then, and I don't know why anybody thought he would be.
Yeah. But yeah, one thing about the Packers offense, I felt like in the second half of 2023 and even more so last year, it was more up tempo. It just doesn't feel that way this year. Not as much no huddle. And I think that's one thing I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Samir, we'll go down to your NFC South.
Yep. So I mean, the Bucs were the favorites coming in, and while they are firmly in first place at 6-3, like everyone else expected, I think the impressive fact about it is that they're doing it with a plethora of injuries to key players. Chris Godwin, they had Tristan Wirfs go down. They've had Bucky Irving miss some time for a little bit. He is practicing this week. It does seem like he is going to be back this Sunday. There is a chance that
Chris doubtful.
Huh?
I saw doubtful all day, like on both sites now, ESPN and
because
Sleeper.
I saw a report that he was practicing again this week, which might be a sign that I don't know if he'll play this week, but it seems like he is on track to return at some point.
Samir, I didn't see him running anywhere. I seen him just like going through walkthroughs.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't like that's a big difference. Anyone can walk through stuff.
So that might be what it is. Vita Vea was limited today. Antoine Winfield was limited today. Now, I don't know their status specifically, but they were limited with foot and back injuries, respectively, yesterday and today. Hassan Reddick hasn't practiced at all this week. Doesn't seem like he's going to go. So, with that being said, even with all the injuries they've had, they are still 6-3. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, and I was thinking about this last week, that their next three was probably going to be their toughest stretch of the season. They had New England, they lost that one. They're at Buffalo. That's always going to be a tough place to play, even though Buffalo has kind of been, I don't know this year, but that's going to be a tough game for them. Then they're at LA, who again was my pick to come out of the NFC, and Matthew Stafford is looking like an MVP candidate. Their defense looks stout. Puka's having another great year. Devontae's having a good year. So I don't know about that one. So they could easily be 6-5. Now, Carolina is somewhat one of the more surprising teams this year. And it's just hard to gauge them because they had the worst scoring defense in NFL history last year. And I think a large part of that can be attributed to Derek Brown having a season-ending injury in, I believe, what was week 4 or 5. And then J.C. Horn had to miss some time as well last year, I believe. But their Ejiro Evero, I felt like did a good job in Denver. He's got their defense playing a lot better this year. And then Rico Dowdle, seems like he's proven that the Cowboys made a mistake letting him go. Rico Dowdle has single-handedly won them about 2 or 3 games alone. Because look, Bryce Young at this stage in year 3, I'm not saying that he's a bust, but
he's close.
You're not joking.
It's just still up for debate if he's going to get a second contract from the Panthers at this juncture. Now that could change, but at this rate, he will not get a second contract from the Panthers because he has only passed for over 200 yards in one game this season. That was week 2 at Arizona when they were down big and they went pass happy at the end. Outside of that, no. So they do have a pivotal game at Atlanta this week, which I will get to. First, I'm going to talk about the 2-8 New Orleans Saints. They are coming off a win on the road against Carolina. And if there's a book out on how to stop the Panthers offense, or not how to stop, but how to give your team a chance, the best chance at beating Carolina, it's load the box, stop Rico Dowdle, and force Bryce Young to beat you. Because that's basically what the Saints did. And they ended up paying off for them. They ended up winning that game. Tyler Shuck passed for over 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it seems like he is going to be the starter moving forward at the very least for the rest of the season. Kelvin, they have some building blocks though. They have Fuaga, a one tackle, and they have Kelvin Banks, who is looking like a very good pick for them on the other side. So those look like the 2 building blocks of their offensive line. Now, whether Chris Olave is part of their future is to be determined, depending on when their rebuild is going to be done. So with that being said, that's the Saints. They're 2-8. That's about where everybody expected them to be. Now, with the Atlanta Falcons, they are 3-6. Seems like not too long ago we had beat Buffalo, and Bijan Robinson was an Offensive Player of the Week talks.
Who's that guy?
Where'd he go?
Defense is flying around.
Raheem Morris took him out of the game.
Oh, please tell him. Don't tell him. Being said, we since then it's just gone down the drain. And if I'm being honest with you, it feels kind of like a repeat of Arthur Smith last year in Atlanta, where we have a couple of promising wins against playoff teams, and we have a bad loss on the road. In 2023, it was that early game in the year at Detroit. It was, of course, the 30-0 shutout this year at Carolina, which kind of set some alarms about this team and about this coaching staff, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And then we come back home at 500, and we have an embarrassing loss at home midseason. Now, all of a sudden, seats are really starting to warm up. We have a couple of bad losses after that. So, I mean, look, this week has just added fuel to the fire, if anything. After the game on Sunday, Drake London basically said, yeah, I just run the routes they tell me to run, number one. Number two, Michael Penix, for those who have not seen it, I'm going to play this clip from the press conference the other day. And you tell me what your thoughts are. And you tell me what your initial thoughts are about this. Here we go. Can you
lean on to like help?
Can you guys hear?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a reporter asking him if he had anyone to lean on or to talk to, like when just in general. Listen carefully. This will play.
I know you lean on your faith. But like, who do you lean on to like help you? Like, we haven't played quarterback, so do you lean on like a former quarterback or your coaches to kind of just help you kind of assess things and good and bad?
You saying like as far as on the field?
Yeah, both.
stuff?
That help you mentally and physically.
No, like mentally, I like my fiance. She's always there for me. So I know whenever I get home, it doesn't matter how I played. She's always gonna be there for me. She's gonna have a smile on her face and give me a hug and make me feel good no matter what. But as far as like physically the on the field stuff, it's not nobody that I'll talk to like as far as another quarterback or anything like that. I do have people reach out to me. I do have quarterback coaches though back at home that reach out to me as well. Tell me, hey, like you need to clean this up, clean that up, and everything will be good. So those guys help me as far as that too. So I can shout out them.
So he doesn't mention.
I know you lean on your faith, but like, who do you lean on to like help you? Like,
So he doesn't mention his offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson. Doesn't mention his head coach. Doesn't mention his quarterbacks coach, TJ Yates. Doesn't mention Kirk Cousins, the backup. Tells you everything you need to know. And those comments, Drake's comments, this coaching staff is starting to lose the locker room. And because if you have your quarterback and your wide receiver saying this, what are other players saying?
The same thing.
Yeah, so that's it for the NFC South.
Anybody else want to comment on the NFC South?
My surprise team is how well the Panthers are playing, and it's mostly due to their defense. Their offense is inconsistent if they can't run the ball. And Samir's exactly right. That's how teams have beat them. The teams that have limited their rushing ability are the ones that have won. Whether it was Chuba Hubbard in the beginning, who was the starter till he got hurt, and Dowdell. Wow. Rigo's on another level. That guy's a monster right now.
How much of Jonathan Brooks did they depend on before? So they had to keep Brooks or Hubbard and go out and get Daddle, though.
Yeah, because they gave Chuba Hubbard a bag this offseason.
I mean, Jonathan Brooks is like Christian Watson, just can't stay healthy.
Right.
But Jonathan Brooks left, and then who was it they brought in in 2022 season? I think it was. They had somebody else with Chuba his rookie year. Who was that?
I remember 2020.
Atlanta. It wasn't he a former Atlanta Falcons running back?
I know in the preseason he was with Foreman, Deontay Foreman.
That's who it is. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about.
Okay, guys, should we move to the NFC West? What do we got, Adam? Any surprises?
Surprises in the NFC West. San Francisco has me scratching my head a little bit. I mean, they're 6-4. I mean, they're not awful. I mean, I believe they're still in the playoff picture at 6-4. Is that correct? They still in that 6th spot?
I believe so. Let's see.
With the loss of Fred Warner on that team, has been a huge loss. All the losses of Hufanga and Greenlaw, just they lost a lot of defensive players, but they're still 6-4. Are they going to be able to keep up with?
They're the first one out of the playoffs right now.
But if they're if they're going to try and keep up with any of these two teams, they didn't do much at the trade deadline to say I want to keep up. Jeremy?
I still think Kyle Shanahan did some sort of blood ritual to sacrifice the rest of the team to keep Christian McCaffrey healthy just so they can win games. Because after they lost Deebo Samuel and they lost all the other players on both sides of the ball, it seems like every week they got somebody hitting the IR. But it's not Christian McCaffrey, who has a ligament disease that makes his Achilles bad.
Samir, your thoughts?
Yeah, the only surprise there is Seattle. Mike McDonald, that's another potential coach of the year candidate. Sam Darnold, another MVP candidate. I feel like Jackson Smith and Jigba's having a breakout year. But yeah, the Rams are, as of right now, leading that division. They were my pick to come out of the NFC, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm sticking with that.
Okay. Okay, well, since we've done the NFL, what game are you most looking forward to in the NFL this weekend? Go around the horn, and you can start, Jeremy.
He takes a second here. You know which one I'm wanting to see.
The Monday night game.
Sunday night.
It is Detroit at Philly on Sunday. My Sunday night game. My least want to watch game is Houston versus Tennessee.
Watch that be the game of the weekend. Watch it just be the game of the weekend.
Okay, Samir, what about you?
Detroit at Philadelphia is one. I think right now, given Philadelphia's inconsistency offensively in there, the dysfunction in the wide receiver room, I wouldn't say dysfunction. I would say the amount of people who are disgruntled in the wide receiver room, the way Detroit's playing, since apparently Dan Campbell took over play calling offensively. I'll take Detroit. Next one I'm looking at is Seahawks Rams. That's a potential NFC Championship preview. Seattle, I believe in the Mike McDonald era, has only one or two losses on the road in the Mike McDonald era. I think this will be the next loss they have. I'm gonna go with the Rams in this one.
You want to know what's crazy about that? The two losses were both last season. They've won 9 in a row on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, you're most looking forward to game of the week.
I'm looking forward to the Steelers and the Bengals, actually.
Okay.
Just because it has a lot of meat riding on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it breaks down. If the Ravens win, the Steelers lose. Do the Ravens get first, or do the Steelers play in first? I don't know how that all breaks down because there is no head-to-head matchup yet. Obviously, Samir answered that earlier. They play, I think, 3 weeks from now. Samir, is that what you said?
The Ravens and Steelers.
Yeah, I think you said 3 weeks from now.
Yep.
So we're not the strongest division, but I think the AFC North is one of the weakest divisions, actually. But it's going to be interesting because the teams aren't that good.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens just let it be that good.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, not that this is a barn burner of a game, but there is an international game, and it's being played in Madrid. Although I feel bad that we're sending Washington and the Dolphins out there, but that is an international. I think that's the last one of the international games, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so too, and God, I hope so.
Although
yeah, I think it is, Ken.
I think it is too. I mean, the one thing I do kind of like is that it puts a game on early if you want to watch. I mean, not that this is going to be a good game. You never know, though. I mean, hey, any given team on the Sunday, you never know this year. We've seen a lot of different teams, but just because I'd like to see it in Spain. Was this the first time they're playing in Spain?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was Brazil last year.
Brazil,
where they couldn't wear green, and we're sending a team green.
Yep.
Sent 2 teams that were green.
2 teams, yeah, were green last year. But obviously I want to see how my Packers do against the Giants. Now the Giants going up. It's going to be a new quarter. It's Winston? Is that right?
Yep.
But Dart could still start, right?
I don't.
Yeah, it depends if he cleared protocol today, and I haven't seen the Giants injury report. If he cleared protocol, he can play.
I don't know. Right now they're saying it's going to be, and everything I've seen, it's going to be Jameis Winston. So
Yeah.
I've seen the same thing, but they literally said in that it would be all depend on Jackson Dart clearing concussion protocol by Friday at 4 p.m. So if he didn't clear today, he has a chance to clear tomorrow.
it says interim head coach Mike Kafka confirmed Wednesday that Dart concussion won't start Sunday's game against the Packers.
Okay.
So that's what at least he's saying. So yeah, obviously it could change, but it sounds like he's going to be inactive this weekend, and Russell Wilson would be in line to back up Winston if needed.
Here's the crazy thing, and I think this was the bigger thing on that coach being fired in New York, and everybody missed it. At the beginning of the season, the OC raved about how good Jackson Dart was running the offense towards the end of that preseason. Dable 2 days later comes out and announces that Russell Wilson is the starter. And the games they won, who was at the helm? Was it Russell?
No.
It was Dart.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think that is what cost Brian Dable his job.
Well, and they said that he really mishandled the whole concussion protocol too.
Yeah.
That didn't help. That was a bad look.
That, and as I mentioned earlier, the 3 blown leads in which you had over a 90% chance of winning late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, especially the one versus Chicago.
Well, Denver more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Denver, but that because that was in their house, but they were winning in Chicago.
Okay, so let's go over to some college. That's Jock W. Go Canes. I agree. I hope you've looked at a lot of the Canes stuff that we have on our website. I do want to let me see if I can.
Hey, I have to use the restroom real quick in case Jeremy didn't tell you before. I have a kidney stone right now, and I am taking all kind of medicine for it right now.
Okay.
So if you hear screaming, don't pay attention.
Just
No
mute
problem.
the mic. Just mute the mic. We'll be okay.
All right. I don't even know. I've never actually walked away from a scream, but I really have to right now.
No,
I
that's
hear
okay.
you.
Yep,
I can't mute it.
I gotcha. Done. Okay, so with that being said, I am going to quick share my screen, and I am going to put up Miami Hurricanes Francis Magoyo, who is an O lineman that actually scored a touchdown this last and at the press conference. So let me play that for you. Let's go here and let's hit play.
Just walk me through the touchdown. It's a play that we've been practicing for more than 2 or 3 years now. Finally, we got the opportunity to run it. Before the play, we had a letter formation in. I was like, what are we doing? Just give me the ball. Finally, somebody called a timeout. We got out there, me and Coop yelling at Coach, let's run it, come on. So it's fun, yeah. But I was a bit mad about it. It's a good touchdown, but I wanted to run over somebody. I was looking forward to running over somebody touchdown actually, but yeah. So that's why there was no celebration.
So in the press conference, he talks about how he was promised a touchdown play when he was recruited, and now he's played for the Canes, I believe, like 3 years. And he was promised a touchdown play, and it just so happened that, hey, we had trick plays in the Canes game. Carson Beck, Malachi Tony, who is a freshman, he is a receiver. He actually threw a touchdown pass to Carson Beck, who scored, and then we have the O lineman scoring too. The only thing is he wished he would had to run over somebody, and he had an easy in. So,
Right.
but
I heard that. I thought that was funny.
exactly. So let's talk a little bit about college. Do we have any surprises that are in like the top 25 or in the college football playoffs right now?
Let me see.
The rankings are Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, Alabama 4, Georgia 5, Texas Tech 6, Ole Miss 7, Oregon 8, Notre Dame 9, Texas 10, Oklahoma 11, BYU 12, Utah 13, Vanderbilt 14, Miami 15, Georgia Tech 16, USC 17, Michigan 18, Virginia 19, Louisville 20, Iowa 21, Pittsburgh 22, Tennessee 23, South Florida 24, and Cincinnati 25. So thoughts?
I would say Tennessee 6-3. I thought they'd be a lot better at this point, and it just seems like it's a recurring theme with Josh Heupel. The narrative people made about James Franklin right now is true about Josh Heupel. That they haven't been able to win the big games for the most part, especially on the road. They're 0-5 against Georgia, 2-3 against Alabama, and right now they are 2-2 against Florida, and then you had the loss at home to Oklahoma, the loss at home to South Carolina a couple years ago, or if they won, they would have had a chance at the playoff. And then I think they had a bad loss on the road to Arkansas last year, which was a primetime game. So it feels like in a lot of these games on the road, especially which are big-time games, they haven't been able to win.
Okay. So Adam, we just went through the top 25. I read off the top 25 for the college football playoff, and I was just asking, are there any surprises in there, or surprises where people are ranked? I would say Indiana, Kirk Cinetti is doing a really masterful job in Indiana. Let's face it, we all thought Indiana was a basketball school, and look how it's become a football school.
That started last year.
It did. It did. Any other surprises? Like, did we think Texas would be down at 10 to start the year? Did we think Arch Manning would, have his team that low? Or
We had 2 big losses. What do you expect?
correct. Yep. Any other surprises?
I think we really got to watch the 13 through 24 teams this weekend to see if any of them can make a jump.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for USF to make a jump. I think they're playing great. I love what they're doing right now with their program at 7-2. They have a great record. They've beaten some teams that everybody thought they didn't have a shot for. I'm interested in seeing them go further. And it's not just because that's Scott's alum.
Doesn't hurt. And actually on that note, so Scott and I will be at the Hurricanes game against NC State this weekend. I believe next weekend we're going to be at FAU. But to end the month on the 29th, we are actually going to head over to USF and see their last game against Rice, I believe. So
Nice.
Covering all 3 of the schools locally. So that'll be kind of cool. Okay, so what college games are we looking forward to this weekend? Because there's some good ones. I was looking at that earlier. There could be some.
Notre Dame.
Okay.
Texas, Georgia. The game is in Athens. I think Georgia, as they have a tendency to do, will get off to a slow start in the first half, and then second half, I think their talent and coaching will take over.
Okay. Jeremy, is there one that you're really looking forward to this weekend?
Michigan and Northwestern, but Northwestern isn't as good as everybody thought they'd be, but they're not a bad program. They have some good players left, even though NIL kind of depleted them. There's actually one that I kind of been watching in the lower Montana State Sycamores taking on Youngstown State Penguins, because the Penguins are actually having a good season at 6-4 and are bowl eligible, whereas the Sycamores, on the other hand, even though they're 3-7, they won 2 in a row. So that's interesting to see if they can keep the momentum going and possibly upset a team that they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. I think the interesting matchup could be Iowa at USC. I think that might be a really good game.
I think that's a good one to bet for Iowa to cover because they have a very good defense. They just don't have a good offense.
Mm-hmm. And then, Oklahoma, Alabama, 11 versus the 4 seed. That could be a really good game.
And this is where I talk about watching those 12 through 22 teams to see if any of them can make a jump.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be top 10 beat. There's, it's gonna be an interesting. It's gonna be an interesting point coming up.
It is. Yeah, there could be some other. You never know who's gonna win. Like I said about the NFL, you could almost say that about college football. Like, you wouldn't have thought some of the teams that beat some of the teams. Although, like, let's face it, Ohio State's undefeated, Indiana's undefeated, and that's not going to change this weekend. I can tell you that. I'd like to think so, but there's no way. Let's see who else was undefeated.
Who's Ohio State playing?
Ohio State, I think, has got a. They have a bye this week?
They play UCLA, I think.
Do they? Let's see.
At home or in UCLA?
At home, I think.
No, they have a bye. Wait. No, you're right. They're at UCLA. No, they're home. I take that back. And they play at Saturday night, 7:30.
Oh, yep, there it is, 7:30 in Colombo.
But Indiana plays at home against Wisconsin, so Wisconsin's beat up this year, and they did beat ugly game last weekend against Washington, but they did manage to get one win there. So, but they're not gonna. Indiana's at home, so. And I think we were on our third or fourth quarterback at one point last week. I think our punter actually faked a punt and threw it and had the most passing yards for our team last week. It was quite ugly, but unusual. Okay, so what are any other games that we're looking forward to?
If you go by the record, this should be a good game. The Louisiana Tech Bulldogs travel west to play the Washington State Cougars Saturday night at 10 p.m. The Bulldogs are 5-4, and the Cougars are 4-5. And then in Division II, a team that I like in the Big Sky division is the Montana State Bobcats. They are taking on the UC Davis Aggies. Both teams have only got 2 losses on the season, 7-2 for the Aggies and 8-2 for the Bobcats.
Okay, there you go. What's happening? Let's switch to your town, because let's switch to your town and see what's happening. Mr. Samir, what's happening in your town?
All right, so baseball. Ronald Acuna Jr. tonight was named the comeback player of the year for the National League. Was well deserved, I think. Off season's about to start. Team president Terry McGurk did say that they plan on being in the inner close to the top 5 for payroll. So Alex Anthopoulos also mentioned that they're going to address shortstop, starting pitching, and bullpen. So we'll see what happens there. So the Hawks have won 4 of their last 5. They're having a pretty good road trip out west. They beat the Lakers at home, and they beat the Clippers and the Kings. Now they're at Utah in the second game of a back-to-back. They are currently losing 109-108 right now in the fourth quarter. Lauri Markkanen I think, is almost 40 points for Utah. So there's that.
Dude doesn't score all freaking year. He puts up 18, 20 points like pretty much every game. That's when he goes off.
Well, he's got 37 now, and I think he's So there's that. So right now, of course, Georgia Tech, they're looking to bounce back. They had their first loss of the season against NC State. Had no answers for the run, couldn't stop the pass. So they're at Boston College. They've only got one win this year, so should be a bounce back win before a big game, which is basically going to decide who goes to the ACC championship at home against Pitt. So the Falcons are 3-6, as I mentioned. They have, for all extensive purposes, a game they have to win against the Carolina Panthers, who come to town this weekend. They shut you out 30-0, embarrassed you at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte earlier this year. And so they're looking to get some get back. I talked about the possible dynamic going on in the Falcons locker room. But I think the key to the game, obviously, they're going to have to stop Rico Dowdle. But the thing is, we are 29th against the run. So we are going to set a franchise we are on pace at this rate to set a franchise record for the most sacks in a single season, which would be 55 set in 2004. They're on pace to break that. But we are 29th against the run. And as I mentioned, load the box, stop Rico Dowdle, and try to get Bryce Young to beat you. It's what the Saints did. It's what the Patriots did. So we're going to see what happens there. A bombshell, I wouldn't say a bombshell, but a rumor came out earlier this morning from Jake Ekberg from Uncovered NFL. He's a credentialed media personality for the NFL, MLB, and the NBA. He's turned out to be a pretty reliable source, pretty valid. And this goes to what I mentioned earlier when I talked about the coaching staff losing the locker room. He said earlier today, Atlanta Falcons head coach Raheem Morris and the rest of his coaching staff are officially on the hot seat, per source. The current regime has until the rest of the season to turn things around. Otherwise, they are expected to clean house and start anew for 2026. And if there is a chance for this regime and this coaching staff to save their jobs, this stretches it. Carolina at home, at New Orleans, and at the Jets. So if you're going to save this season and save jobs, it's going to happen in this 3-game stretch right here. And that's it for my town.
Okay, Adam, your town.
So Saturday's an interesting day around here. Obviously, we have the Pitt game at noon, and game day is here. Obviously, Pat McAfee and the crew's here. But the big thing for that game, we get Desmond Reed back. So the running back situation is going to be a lot more better, stronger. Could be interesting to watch. The Pitt Panthers basketball team lost tonight, so they're 3-1 on the season, very young season. So Saturday night, also at 6:30, we get the Riverhounds playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. That is our soccer team. That is big news. I was at the game last week when it went to penalty kicks. That was pretty wild. I never been to a soccer game with interest, but that was fun. So see what happens. They did beat Rhode Island 1-0 in May. That was the last time they met. Obviously, Paul Skeens won the Cy Young last night. Very, very good news. That's about all the good news for the Pirates. The Pens are playing the Predators in Sweden in a home-and-home situation. They play tomorrow at 2:00, everyone, if anyone wants to watch. And they play Sunday at 9 a.m., I believe, is what I saw. So, and they're third in the Metro, 9-5-3, 21 points, 4 points out of first. And Evgeny Malkin has 21 points in 17 games. Will Howard activated. That's big news. And Highsmith is doubtful. And that's my news for the week.
Okay, Jeremy, your town.
Before I get to my town, I do want to talk about a situation because we all know what happened with Marshawn Nealon last week. And I don't know if anybody's paid attention, but Coach Schottenheimer came out and announced that his girlfriend is pregnant with their child, and so they have created the Marshawn Nealon Memorial Fund, and they are going to help take care of all the finances to help with the pregnancy for her because of her living in his house, and that was considered her income. She's not eligible for state aid right at this time. So this team is going to help with all the money for that young woman to raise their child alone, and I applaud them for that. I think that speaks volumes about the coach and the players that they want to do that for her. It's probably the best thing I've heard coming out of Dallas since the last time they won a Super Bowl.
That's horrible.
It may be
horrible.
horrible, but it's the truth. Now to my town, Jahmyr Gibbs was NFC Offensive Player of the Week with 2 rushing touchdowns, his receiving touchdown, and his almost 200 yards altogether. And because he had those 3 touchdowns, he has 41 touchdowns under the age of 24, and he does not turn 24 until March 10th. What's significant about that, there's only 4 other players in NFL history that has scored 40-plus touchdowns from scrimmage. Number 1, Barry Sanders at 47. 2 and 3 are tied between Randy Moss and Emmitt Smith. And the one that is one above him is none other than another GOAT of a running back named Jim Brown. When you're reaching the level in your career in year 3 where you're hitting the level of those 3 players that are gold jacket members of the NFL and the Hall of Fame, you're reaching an elite status.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of players come back from injury. Josh Pascal, Marcus Davenport, and DJ Reed all started practicing this week, and we were able to sign Ahmad Hassanin, our draft pick, that was Egypt-born, as an international pathways player, which means he does not count against the roster, nor does his salary cost count against the cap. Brilliant chess move doing the medical waiver because it was a rookie contract, rookie year prior to the season starting, because that made us be the team that we had the choice to pick up his contract again first. It also makes him unpoachable. So another team can't poach him off of if they put him on the practice squad, he can stay there. And I think because he's not on the injury report at all this week, that means he's a full participant. Because he was medically cleared in week 7, but because he was medically waived from the roster and technically a waived free agent, he couldn't be listed on the injury report, so nobody knew he has been healthy for 4 weeks already before they signed him, because that's the NFL rules on that.
Okay. Anything else?
Oh, and he said something interesting in his interview that he was approached by all 31 other teams to ask if he wanted to sign.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. My town. Congratulations to 1, Pat Murphy winning back-to-back Manager of the Year for the National League. And for the first time, MLB has awarded for the 2nd straight year, Brewers GM Matt Arnold wins the MLB Executive of the Year award, and this is the first time someone's won it back to back. So kudos to the Brewers and Matt Arnold and Pat Murphy.
Stephen Vaught won Manager of the Year 2 times in a row.
Yes, they both did. Yeah, the Manager of the Year has been won 2 times in a year. It's the Executive of the Year that has not been won by the same person 2 years in a row. So, Packers have a tough game again. They're going to go into the Giants. Like I said, let's see what team shows up. The Badgers go into Indiana. I just hope they come out clean and uninjured. Let's just see what kind of a game that is. The Bucks have been playing pretty tough. Right, I know Giannis was out last night. He's having a little soreness in his left knee, I believe it is. As far as down here, obviously the Canes play Saturday night or Saturday during the day. We will be there for that. Trying to think what else. I mean, I'm not a Falcons fan down here, so we won't get into that. Otherwise, there was something else I was going to mention, and I can't think of what it was now.
Scott wrote a book.
He did write a book.
Hey,
I can do that, but
I just want to know why Jeremy didn't mention Tarek Screwball winning the Cy Young Award.
Because I didn't want to steal Paul Skeen's thunder today.
Oh, you could have.
They both
I was like,
won.
wait, why is that? I was like, wait, why is Jeremy not mentioning this?
Okay, since you brought it up, it's not just that he won the Cy Young; he's back-to-back Cy Young winner.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I just was wondering, like that's big news in my town at this time of the segment, Jeremy.
I know. I just didn't want it. I'm not one to like to rub everything in all the time.
I thought you would have. I thought that might have slipped your. Well, Stephen Vaught wouldn't have got manager of the year if the Tigers wouldn't have fallen apart.
You're not wrong there.
What was I thinking? Anyways. Okay, yeah, let me do my promotional stuff here. Lessons from the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by my husband, Scott, the Motor City Mad Mel Morganroth. Talks about his 40-plus years in the industry and how it has evolved and changed. If you're looking for a good Christmas gift for anybody that's aspiring broadcaster, writer, any of the above, or just want a good read, he's got lots of stories to tell, so go buy his book. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content, including Samir has written for us on occasion, and Jeremy always writes, so you can always check out his column. I know he's going to go over that too, but if you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise or you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you see the red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, you can click it, like us, share us, and then tell all your friends and family and turn on the notifications so you're notified every time we go live. Monday nights, we have a baseball show. Tuesday nights, we have Inside the Pigskin, which is all football. Wednesday nights on Sports Exchange, you never know what we're going to be talking about. It's called Wacky Wednesday or Wild Wednesday. That would be my husband. We also do a show. We did a show this past week on CTE and a former U.S. Olympic bobsledder who is trying to raise money because he is trying to help anybody that has CTE or brain injury get treatment from a hyperbaric chamber. He's got a facility there. He's got a personal one, but he's trying to buy some more big units so that he can help. And then he's also he doesn't want to just give you the treatment. He also wants to pay for the traveling expenses and stuff like that. So go check out that podcast. And then before this on Sports Wrap, Scott did a hockey show. So if anybody's interested in hockey, go check that show out. I can tell you that show is going to take a slight hiatus until the beginning of December. And then he's going to have a former GM, Mike Santos, on the program on that show too. So, yeah. A lot of things happening. Again, we will be at the Canes game on Saturday night. We were there last Saturday. I can't believe they had 8 home games this season, and this is the last of the 8 home games already. I can't believe it's winding down as quickly as it is. But yes. So I think that's pretty much my shtick. Samir, how can people find you?
Of course, yeah, you can find me on X at ATL_Samir2401. I put a lot of Atlanta sports content on there, a lot of NFL content. I promote a lot of my articles there. You can find me on Thursday night on Fire Up, and you can also find a lot of my articles on the South Florida Tribune.
Adam, how can people find you?
You can give me that Twitter, at Sports Talking It on Twitter. You can give me at Driving to the Top Productions, which we are live on tonight, just to let everyone know. You can also get me at Driving to the Top Productions on Twitter. You can get me on Tuesday nights on Open Mic. Wednesday, I imagine me and Rich are going to get back to doing our Pittsburgh show. We've been kind of on we've been kind of off lately. But anyway, you know, I let them do a wrestling show last night because obviously I was in the hospital and didn't get home till late. So I had a reason last night. I didn't even go on Jeremy's show. That's how bad pain I was in. It's not fun trying to like get a stone out of your pee hole.
Yeah.
I do want to say I hope Fetterman recovers well. Apparently he fell down some stairs today, just recently.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to him, but that's just what popped up on my timeline, and I was like, "Uh-oh, he's the only one speaking out against them." Maybe they tried to rich him. Anyway, not to be political, but I hope he has a speedy recovery. And yeah, that's how you get me.
Jeremy, how can people find you?
Well, you can find me right here every Thursday night on Fire Hub and occasionally on Tuesday nights on the South Florida Tribune channel on Inside the Pigskin. You can also find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions, where I go live every day but Sunday. You can find me also on the SouthFloridaTribune.com, where you can find my writings, and you can also find me occasionally on Driving to the Top Productions with Adam on Open Mic Night, and on the Huddle Sports Network, which is found all over the place. It's now on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook. It's on. It's everywhere.
It is. It's hard to keep up, Jeremy. And I'm sorry, I also always forget, Candy, real quick, that I am over here on Thursday nights. I always forget to leave out what show I'm actually on right now. So,
Fire up.
and I am grateful to come on here.
We're grateful to have you too. I remember now what the one thing that I kept forgetting. We're gonna ask everybody for prayers. Scott knows Bernie Kosar, and he is waiting a liver transplant. He is in the hospital. He has an infection, and he's not doing as well. So hopefully, prayers.
So the Twitter page was a lie today?
Yes, he's not deceased. He is in the hospital now.
No. He said he was doing well on his Twitter page.
Well, he's asking for prayers. He is waiting. He underwent a procedure, and he is waiting for a liver transplant at this point. So
he is not unalive.
He is alive. He's not. Yeah, I saw someone that posted that he was deceased, and I'm like, no. I'm like, fake.
I've been watching. I've been monitoring this situation too. I'm friends with Bernie Kosar. Follows me back, so I keep up with him.
Yeah, Scott's been texting him a little bit, so yeah. So we're just gonna ask for prayers for him. I do want to say I know it's 2 days late, but happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all those that have served. We appreciate all that you have done for us. Jeremy, you want to close out the show?
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you for watching. Make sure you go to everybody's channel that we had talked about here. Ring that bell for the notification. And this is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So if you are struggling with depression, grief, or thoughts of suicide, please reach out to the Suicide Prevention Hotline, which
Thank you, everybody. Hope you all have a great weekend and enjoy the football.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good night.